Truth be told, he's always been a hustler on a mission. Mission for greatness. Some people are naturally blessed with the hustler's ambition. Now this story is one that we're all quite familiar with. This man had talent and a dream. Three things that he always had besides his 45 with intelligence, ambition, and intuition. Hustler is not simply born. The true hustler is created as he adapts to the bullshit this world throws at him.
Hey, what's up, BGK gang? I'm just here to let you know about an exciting breeding we just completed. We have our BGK'S The Rock daughter, Coco, bred to BGK's Debo, who is a first pick rock son. So that is BGK'S The Rock, BGK'S The Rock in the same pedigree. Puppies just dropped. The litter was all males, 7 males. Amazing, monster-sized males. Check out the website. Hey, what up, BGK gang? This is Andre of Big Gemini Kennels, aka BGK. Welcome back. Smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, drop a comment, let us know what you're thinking. Make sure you hit that alert button so that you're notified every time we drop content, and that's gonna be frequently because we came to drop bombs. Beast mode.
Hey, what up? So today, Dre BGK is here to hit you with a story time. Let's get ready for a BGK story time.
This story is about a shady wannabe broke-ass breeder that never made it, Adrian of Carolina's MVP, that literally begged me to work with him because he didn't have the money to pay for my stud, BGK'S The Rock, and a shady client of mine, Greggy B of the Backseat Boys, Greggy B of the Backseat Boys, whatever he was called, tried to rip me off for a dog that I was supposed to own myself by hanging papers, falsifying papers with the UKC. Yeah, that happened. Allegedly.
What up, BGK gang? It's Andre BGK right back at you with another banger. You know how we do. BGK story time. Remember, I'm the originator, often imitated, never duplicated. I don't know why you tried it. You should have never made it. Hey, I seen some people out there trying to do a story time, trying to do what your boy doing. It's the curse of being an originator. Anyway, back to the story time. This story time is about BGK's Viper. Now, BGK's Viper was a dog that I produced on the outside breeding. Turned out to be a champion in the show ring. He actually chimped out real quickly. And the guy that actually got him tried to steal him from me. You know, it was supposed to be a co-own. And this is one of the reasons why I don't believe in co-own. First, BGK's Cujo was supposed to be a co-own. That went south because of a shady person. And BGK's Viper is another one that turned out to be a shady co-own. So let me tell you what happened. I was doing the breeding where Carolina's MVP, Adrian of Carolina's MVP, had contacted me wanting to breed to one of my dogs. He wanted to breed to Rock. Now, at this point, I did not like to do outside breedings with Rock. Rock was super popular. Everybody knew he could produce his ass off. His dogs were selling for top dollar. At this point, I'm in my big house with my pool and my waterfall and my hot tub, and I'm not dealing with a lot of outside people. You know, and when I first talked to Adrian on the phone, he was so humble, man. That's what really made me want to work with him, man. To be honest, is Adrian knows how to play the role. He came across as very humble. And let me give you an example. Hey, Dre, man, it's just an honor to be on the phone with you right now, man. I just can't believe I'm even talking to you right now, man. Rock is just like legendary to me already, man. I can't believe the productions I've seen from him. Man, if you would please give me a chance and do a breeding with me, I'm telling you, I don't have money, but I got a bitch that will compliment him very well. Dude, and you know what's even weirder? I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I could tell that he had me on speakerphone and that he had other people in a room listening. I don't know how to explain that, but I could tell. So as we were speaking to each other, I kind of took it as a compliment, like, oh, he's so excited to talk to me that he's got other people in the room listening in because he wants them to know that he's really talking to me and he's really going to do a breeding with The Rock. Okay, let's do it. Now, he had an icon daughter, a daughter of what I call the legendary XB's icon. And here's a picture of XB's icon. This boy was a beast. Like, he was a beast. He's a Kama son, just really wide. And the girl that Adrian wanted to breed to BGK's The Rock was a runt, believe it or not, from Icon. But she looked just like her dad. She had the same white markings, same wide chest. Everything about her was very similar to her dad. So I'm like, you know what? She's a runt, but I guarantee you, runts don't matter. Rock can breed his ass off. This is the deal I made with him. You send her out here. I'll go ahead. I'll do the breeding. I will send you 2 dogs off of that breeding.
I also guarantee Adrian of Carolina's MVP X amount of dollars from the breeding, which I gave to him directly after the breeding as well.
And that's it. That was our deal. All right? He's so excited. He sends the girl out when she's in heat. We're talking on the phone every day. She gets out. I check her out. She's smaller than I'm used to, but she's got a real bully structure to her. So I'm like, oh, you know what? This is going to be a good breeding. I'll put the breeding on my website. I did the breeding, and she had the litter. The litter came out with crazy puppies. I mean, this litter was gorgeous. Rock and her clicked like crazy. Like, the litter was so badass that I'm looking at BGK's Picasso, BGK's Viper, BGK's Pressure. I'm looking at BGK's Bella. I'm looking at BGK's Damien that also came from that litter. And it's just like, man, who do I pick? And then also Adrian's trying to figure out who he's going to pick, because he's excited. Like, man, I can't believe I get to work with you. I can't believe I get to get some Rock offspring over here in North Carolina. So I look at the dogs. Adrian makes his pick. And then he picks his second dog, right? So I put those 2 dogs to the side. I pre-sell a few other dogs, including BGK's Viper, and I decide I'm going to keep BGK's Picasso. I could not pick between BGK's Viper and BGK's Picasso. I knew that BGK's Picasso was going to be a blue beast. Like, there was no doubt about it. As a puppy, he was just wide, thick, head, bone, dome. Everything you want to see in a bully, he had it. When it came to the breeding process, Adrian wasn't a part of that. The only thing he did was ship his bitch to me. I did everything else. I took pictures of her. I marketed the breeding. I took her in for progesterone tests. I did the breeding myself. I bred them together multiple times myself. Then I whelped the litter. I didn't do a C-section. I literally whelped the litter myself, delivered each puppy myself, and then I pre-sold each puppy myself, including BGK's Viper, and I decided I'm going to keep BGK's Picasso. BGK's Picasso is just a beast. From day one, from the first day that those pups were born, BGK's Picasso was the biggest one out of the litter, period. There was not a close second. He was the biggest one. From a young age up until now, because he ended up being a 163-pound beast. BGK's Picasso turned into the monster I knew he would. So that breeding was well worth it. But this story is not about BGK's Picasso. It's about BGK's Viper. I was having a hard time deciding between BGK's Picasso, because he was obviously the overall pick. When you look at his structure, you look at his size, you look at his dome, you look at his bone, everything about him said first pick. But then BGK's Viper had what I call the X factor. There was something super unique about his look, super unique about his color. He had perfect structure, perfect top line, perfect dome. I'm like, damn, man, Rock killed this breeding. Him and Diva really clicked. I think I'm going to keep both of these. But I had already pre-sold BGK's Viper. I'm going to keep this story all the way honest, all the way 100. I had already pre-sold BGK's Viper, and I had taken a deposit on him. So I called the guy up, and I'm like, look, man. He was like, don't tell me something bad. I'm like, nah. The guy that I'm dealing with was super excited to deal with me. His name was Greg.
I'm Greggy B. I'm Greggy B. I'm Greggy B of the Backseat Boys. I'm Greggy B. I'm Greggy B. I'm Greggy B. I'm sexy, sexy. Backseat Boys, alright.
Greg turned out to be a slimy piece of shit. Adrian, that own little diva that called me up saying, hey Dre, I can't believe you're the best breeder that I ever dealt with. You're the best breeder out there. You're a legend in the game. You're Michael Jordan of this breeding. All that stuff he was telling me, he turned out to be a slimy piece of shit too. Both of them turned out to be pieces of shit. But anyway, let's get to Greg. Greg is the guy that's so excited to be my client and buy BGK's Viper. I called him back, and to be an honest businessman, I was like, look, you did put a deposit down on Viper. I don't think I want to sell Viper. I think I want to keep him in BGK's Picasso. He's like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, but I'll give you all your money back, and I'll knock $2,000 off of any other litter you want to pick from. I'll knock $2,000 off. You can pick whatever other litter you want a dog from, and you automatically got a $2,000 credit, and you got your deposit back that you gave me. So I'm not trying to hold on to your money. He was like, this is not about money. How much will it take? I'll give you more money to be able to buy a Viper. I'm like, let me think on it, man, because I don't think I want to sell this dog. There's something special about Viper, right? And he's like, but what about you said you want to keep Picasso? I'm like, something special about him too. This is an unusual litter, man. This litter just dominates. I don't breed for the money. People think that breeders only breed for the money. A good breeder is breeding for foundation stock to further his program, and then if he makes money off the rest of the litter, which I'm sure that is the goal, and I'm not going to say that's not my goal, that's great. But first and foremost, I'm looking for what I want out of that litter. That is the purpose in that breeding, not just to try to make a dollar. So I told Greg at that point, look, let me sleep on it. The next day I called Greg back. I'm like, this is what I'm thinking, man. I want to just give you your money back. I'd rather just give you your money back. And if you see another breeding I'm doing that you really like, I'll knock $2,000 off of whatever that price is. You don't have to put a deposit down. And when that pup is ready, just pay the price and it's yours, man. He's like, no. I've been staring at these pictures all day. And I understand that feeling too. I'm not going to sit here in front. I get it. He was really, really excited about getting that dog. So it wasn't about the money anymore because I offered him his money multiple times. So then I was like, look, let's make a compromise. I'll sell the dog to you, but it'll be a co-own. Because I'm going to want to use that dog in my program moving forward. I'm going to want to put him on my site. And if you start up a kennel, because he didn't have a kennel or nothing, he was just buying a dog. Like, if you want to start a kennel, you can put him on your site. And then at that point, I guess I'll take him off of mine, but I'll still use him as a stud in my program. So let's make a co-own contract. And a co-own is something I highly advise any breeder not to do. Because what happens is once that dog is popular, the owner of the dog, the person that has physical custody of that dog, starts to feel some type of way. I had the dog, I'm doing all the work, I should be able to make all the decisions, and whatever agreement y'all put into place tends to fall apart. Matter of fact, I've talked to a lot of different breeders, I'm friends with a lot of different breeders, and I would say 9 out of 9.5 co-owns don't work out. To keep it 100, 9 out of 9.5 co-owns don't work out. So there's a 0.5% chance that it might work. I'm not saying it won't work, but yeah, you might win the lottery too, but don't quit your day job. You feel me? It's that type of event. So at the end of the day, I told him I wasn't aware of this at this point. I thought this was a good option because I didn't want to, if he didn't want his money back, I didn't want to keep him from getting that dog. I just wanted to be able to use it. So Greg was actually excited. He was like, oh man, a co-own, that means you're going to help market the dog and I'll get to have him at my place and he'll still be my dog. And I'm like, yeah, but I keep his papers, right? I keep his papers because that's the only way to have checks and balances when you're co-owning a dog. Somebody has a dog, somebody has the papers. That way, if he wants to do a breeding, I have to sign off. He can't just breed it to everybody and vice versa. I can't use the dog without him agreeing because he has the dog. So it's a system of checks and balances. That's why you usually set up a co-own in that way. That's what the way a traditional co-own works. One person has the papers, one person has the dog. But I'm going to tell you this about co-owns. Whoever has the dog has more leverage because they can breed that dog and then hang papers. But let me tell you what went down. So I went ahead and said, you know what? I'm going to draft this co-own contract for you, Greg, and I'm going to still sell you the dog just as a co-own. And you know what's even better about the co-own is the price you were going to pay gets chopped down. Now you only have to pay half of the price you were going to pay because I'm going to be half owner, you're going to be half owner, except for you're going to have the dog. So you don't have to pay full price. So he was excited about that. I get the dog at half price, and Dre's going to help market it on his site, because at this point, Big Gemini Kennels is a well-established site. If you type in anything to do with Pitbulls, we're showing up in Google, and that's going to help him get established, because eventually I guess he wanted to be a breeder. So, short story shorter, he makes the payment. I ship out BGK's Viper, and I also ship out the rest of the litter that's going out, and I ship out the 2 dogs to Adrian. You remember Adrian is the bitch's owner. He's the one that sent me Lil Diva to breed The Rock. Alright, so I ship out his 2 puppies, and I ship him his bitch back. The only thing I'm keeping from that litter at this point, at my house anyway, is BGK's Picasso. Right? Now, Adrian asked for both of the papers. You know, everybody gets papers along with their puppies, right? The only person that didn't get papers with their puppy is Greg when he bought BGK's Viper, because BGK's Viper is supposed to be a co-own. I sent 2 sets of papers to Adrian of Carolina's MVP, to his shady ass, right? I sent him 2 sets of papers for the 2 puppies. Remember, he gets 2 puppies, so he gets 2 sets of papers. I register Viper under my name, like I'm supposed to. I register Picasso under my name, like I'm supposed to, per our agreement. Picasso turns out to be a monster, a hog. You know, you've seen video, you've seen pictures of BGK's Picasso. I mean, I feel like Rock outproduced himself on that. He has the chest, the dome, the structure, great movement, the athleticism, the temperament. Picasso was no joke. He's a serious guard dog. Hit 163 pounds. So I definitely did get pick of the litter. There's no question about that, right? Now, Adrian is still calling me, Dre, I'm so happy with the puppies you gave me. Hey man, it was such a pleasure doing business with you. You kept your word. You did everything you said you were going to do. Man, I'm telling everybody, I got Rock puppies here and they can't believe it. Bro, you made my career. Like, I can't believe that I got to do business with you. You're a legend, bro. You're a legend. You're Michael Jordan in this. He's still kissing my ass. And I'm like, okay, cool, bro. I'm glad you're happy with it. You know, at this point, I'm not saying nothing negative about him, because he's been cool with me. We did a great breeding that turned out phenomenal. Everybody in the bully industry is looking at these dogs. I got a ton of people hit me up about using BGK's Picasso. Picasso got that extreme bully stamp as far as his chest goes. I'm happy. Me and Greg are doing well. Greg starts going to shows with Viper. Viper starts winning the shows. Hands down, his first show he went to, 2 first place ribbons. Next show he goes to, first place ribbon. Like I told you, I knew there was something special about him. Now, Picasso is bigger. His stature is bigger. And he's a little bit bullier. But there's something about Viper that every time he hits that show ring, it's just undeniable. Everybody's saying, oh my gosh, Viper, 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 Viper. People are asking me why I sold him in the first place, and they know Picasso was bigger. Viper was that unique. He was a special dog. Is a special dog. Period. Just ended up in the idiot's hands. So Greg eventually hits me and is like, Dre, I don't want to do a co-own anymore, because some of the people said they would have bred the Viper, but you wouldn't allow them to breed the Viper. They had shitty dogs. There's a couple people that hit me up that wanted to breed the Viper, and I'm like, nah, that female is not worthy of Viper. And he was like, man, I just want to make money. I don't care what the female look like. I want to breed to everything. And I'm like, no, bro, we got a selective breed. He's champion out real quick. He's winning all the shows. You want to breed him selectively so that his offspring are like him or better, and that raises his value as a stud. And Greg is like, man, I'm not feeling this. Like, I just want to be able to breed him to whatever I want to breed him to. I don't even want to talk to you about breeding him. And he's at my house, and I'm doing all the work. And you know what, man? I feel like you shouldn't even have nothing to say about this dog. Completely different than the dude that was begging me, please let me get this dog. Don't give me my money back. Now he's getting cocky because he's winning shows and he got people in his ear. Hey, man, forget Dre, man. There's ways to get papers without Dre. This is what happens. He connects with Adrian, the guy that owned Diva, because Adrian has 2 sets of papers because I sent him 2 puppies. Adrian was like, you know what? For about $3,000 or $4,000, I'll just give you the papers I got, and it's the same litter, and then that way you don't have to deal with Dre, and you'll have papers on BGK's Viper, and we'll write Viper on there.
Allegedly.
And Greg connected with Adrian and bought the papers for Viper from Adrian.
Allegedly.
Right? And then Greg hits me up like, we ain't ever gonna talk again. I got papers for Viper, and that's it. Fuck you. Click. Man, I lost it. Like, yo, I got his address. And then I actually, we went up to the address that he had put down on the contract on a repo mission. Like, you know what? Per contract, he can't do that. So we slid up there. We went up there. We found out that that was not his real address. It was a job site that he used to work at, and he didn't even work there anymore. Right? So now I'm mad. I put a PI on it. I get his real address, and I'm ready to slide back up there and snatch the dog and beat the living brakes off of him. Because that's how I'm feeling at this point. Like, you trying to steal the dog. You went and got papers behind my back. You're breaking the contract. I want the dog back. Right? People talked me out of it. People with more sense than I had at that point talked me out of it. You know what? You got Picasso. Go through the UKC. Let them know that he hung papers. They'll revoke the papers, and then he won't even be able to breed the dog anymore. That's what they're telling me, right? So I'm mad because now Greg is going online and telling everybody, man, Dre tried to rip me off. Dre tried to force me into a co-own. When he willingly agreed, happily agreed, he was skipping up the street buck naked to get into this co-own. He was happy about it, man. He was happy. He was loving it. Dude, I can't believe I get to work with you long term. I can't believe that you're going to help me market this dog. And that's where I messed up. I marketed that dog until everybody knew about it. So between my marketing and everybody knowing about BGK's Viper, because I keep posting them on my Instagram, posting them on my Facebook, posting them on my website, and he's also winning shows, and I'm letting everybody know that he just came in first again. He just came in first again. Now Greg has an ego about a dog that we're supposed to have a co-own on, and now he has the papers indirectly, illegally, through Adrian.
Allegedly.
Because Adrian slimy ass sold him the papers.
Allegedly. To give you guys a rough idea of how things transpired, what I did was went to his Instagram and took screenshots of what he was saying before and after he screwed me over by stealing the papers and buying this set of papers from Adrian that was intended for another puppy that wasn't for him. So I want to be clear on one thing. When you see him tag, I breed the largest pit bulls, that's my old Instagram tag. My current Instagram tag is largest pit bulls. All right. So whenever you see him tagging, I breed the largest pit bulls, that's me. He's referencing me. Now let's take a look. Big shout out to I Breed the Largest Pit Bulls for producing a show quality XL pit that has amazing drive. That's one Instagram post. I can't imagine this dude full grown. I can't believe he's still a pup. Check out I Breed the Largest Pit Bulls to get the best quality XL pits in the world. Hands down. BGK all day. That's another Instagram post. You see it. The one and only, the baddest of the baddest, one of the top producers in the game, most consistent in my opinion. I can go on and on about this dude. He's talking about my boy BGK'S The Rock and posting a picture of my boy BGK'S The Rock. Big shout out to I Breed the Largest Pit Bulls for producing show quality XL pit bull that has amazing drive. That's Greggy B of the Backseat Boys right there, posting up, giving credit to where credit is due. This is right when it starts to get bad because now he's winning shows. This is close to when we break our ties from dealing with each other. Here's Greggy B again, posting up Viper, giving me props. Viper took the XL 1-2 class in Best Overall XL. Love it at our first show. Produced by I Breed the Largest Pit Bulls, aka me, right? Everything's all good right now. Here he is tagging me in another post. At I Breed the Largest Pit Bulls, he wouldn't sit still. He thought it was time to play, LOL. Yeah, real funny, Greggy B. And here's the last post that I'm going to show you guys. And this shows you where everything switches. Now he got the papers from Adrian of Carolina MVP. And he posts up a picture with the dog showing MVP. And it says, everybody go follow Carolina MVP. They breed the best XL pit bulls in the world. He produced my boy Viper and my soon-to-be threat daughter. That's because they did a deal on another dog. He had to give him some money and purchase another dog to be able to get the papers. Allegedly. So all of a sudden, now he's claiming MVP produced the dog. Why would his Instagram just switch all of a sudden to this when you seen all the other posts when he's winning the shows and he's giving me credit? You know why. He had to buy those papers. Allegedly. I'm a guy that's all about receipts, and the unique thing about this situation is I got receipts. This guy right here, his name is Brian Quinones, a mutual friend of Greggy B and I. He was actually talking to Greg about how to hang the papers. They fell out, and he decided to forward me the text messages that he and Greg had talking about how to properly fake the paperwork on Viper so that he could use Viper without me. Here you go. Here's the text messages. In this text message, Greg and Brian are discussing if Heavy G is another dog owned by another kennel that has nothing to do with Viper, looked enough like Viper for them to use papers from him to fake the paperwork. Greg says, yeah, Heavy G papers are the best for him, looks just like him. And then Brian says, it's scary how much they look alike. Then they show the picture comparison of the two dogs, and then says, yeah, look at this. Think Viper has a little bigger head and cleaner lips. That's because he's a better dog, and he was produced by me, not by Heavy G. And definitely a bigger dome. Damn. That's the first text message where they're discussing if they can hang the papers on Heavy G. Now here's the next text message. On the next text messages between Greg and Brian, Brian tells him, sorry if I seem like a D, bro. Sometimes I get set on a deal and be into playing around it. I get why you went with Adrian's papers. Think about that. What is he saying? You could have went with Heavy G's papers, but I understand why you went with Adrian's papers because they're from the same litter. Now, anyway, I get why you went with Adrian's papers. Just was a quick change, but I appreciate the stud credit still. Thank you for that at least. And Greg replies with, yeah, man, sorry about that. This was a no-brainer, but yeah, you guys can use Viper anytime. So basically he's saying, I'm still going to give you a stud credit. I'll still let you use Viper for trying to help me hang the papers. Now, he didn't let him use Viper, so Brian exposed him. And now I have the text messages showing that Greg and other people were planning behind my back to hang papers on a dog that he knew he didn't own outright.
So that's how that story ends, and that's where I'm pissed to this day that I should have never did that cologne. I should have never sold it. And the way it ended with me and Adrian is I called him up and let him know like that was some real shady shit. He like, Dre, you know what, man, I made a mistake. Because now he wants to do business with me again. Hey, bro, is there any way you would sell me another dog? Can we work it out? Nah, get off my line. And to this day, Carolina's MVP, they don't really exist no more. They haven't produced anything worth talking about. At one point, he tried to do it, fell off. You know what I think it is? Karma. The more you do shady shit in this business, it comes back to you. Same with Greg. That's the funny thing. Greg did a couple breedings with Viper that didn't turn out because he didn't know how to line them up with females. And like I told you, he was willing to breed them to anything. So Viper never outproduced himself like he could have. Picasso outproduced himself. The only two dogs that didn't produce shit out of that breeding, BGK's Pressure, the one that went to Adrian of Carolina's MVP because his dumb ass don't know how to breed. You just want to go off a hype instead of actually knowing how to pair two dogs together and make sure that they're genetically matched up to produce something as good or better than themselves. And BGK's Viper. Now, it didn't make any sense to anybody because BGK's Viper's winning all these shows. He looks beautiful to everybody, but he can't get them to produce for shit. And again, I say it's karma. I didn't have to go take that dog from Greg. He has a great pet to this day because BGK's Viper is probably still alive. But what he doesn't have is a great kennel because he didn't want to work with me. After I marketed that dog into being a superstar and well known in the bully community, he wanted to breed to a bunch of bullshit. And I got everybody coming back, finding out later on, he ended up ripping off other people. So that's the one thing where Greg messed up. If he just did me dirty, he might have been able to get people to believe that Dre is shady and he tried to do me dirty. But Greg just continued being shady with everybody else. Katie from Incredibles, he ended up ripping her off for money and then cussing her out, calling her a bitch and all kinds of other stuff. And Katie is a real respectable person. Check out the Incredibles, her kennel. She has a great kennel, incredible dogs. Greg ripped her off. And I can't tell you how many other people contacted me saying, hey man, you was right about Greg. I didn't know who to believe at first when he was saying that you kind of forced him into a co-own, but that dude ripped me off. I paid for a stud, I didn't get a stud. I paid for a pup, I didn't get a pup. I paid for 3 pups, he didn't give me any pups.
Allegedly.
So Greg ruined his name, but that kennel was done. Carolina's MVP is done. So both the guys that tried to rip me off in this scenario are dead. Believe in karma, do right by people, and people will do right by you. Make sure that you do good business, man. I know I sound like a fortune cookie right now, right? I know I sound like a fortune cookie, but I'm telling you real shit, man. If you do right by people, You will be surprised at the results you'll get in the way that they do right by you. This is just another story to show you the bully game can be shady as hell. I'm a stand-up dude, and I'm always going to do good business, and that's why I'm still here. Andre BGK, and I'm out.
If you'd like to know more about these dogs, please check out my ebook, BGK's Dog Care Secrets and Breeding Tips. It's available on Amazon.com and has got great reviews. You can check that out yourself. The link will be in the description. And you can also purchase it on my website, BigGeminiKennels.com. That's BIGGEMINI Kennels.com. You can purchase it right there. I'm working on part 2 right now since I got such a great response to my first book. If you're a pet owner and you're looking for tips to help it grow and reach its maximum potential and what exercises and dog food and supplements to use, this book is for you. If you're a breeder that's established and you're looking to learn more about marketing and the different tips and tricks we use when delivering litters and marketing our pups and making sure they reach their fullest potential, this book is for you. If you're a breeder that's just starting out or you're looking to become a breeder, this will give you all the insight you need on picking your foundation stock all the way up to how to breed and the type of breedings to use and what's most effective. This book is for you. Remember, our motto is always quality matters. I'm out.